Hello, I'd like to welcome you to Creating Fast Wealth with the New Currency. We appreciate you taking the time to view our presentation today. We're going to be talking about the future of bankless banking. Our goal today is to help you understand what the new currency is, what's in it for you, and ultimately how you can get started. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. My name's Tom McMurrin. I am the author of the Amazon best-selling ebook, The Seventh Disruption, The Rise of the Digital Currency Billionaire, and I'll be your host today for this presentation. I've had an incredible opportunity to learn about digital currency and have seen it mature over the last 5 years, and I'm excited to tell you that you are on the forefront of probably one of the most incredible business opportunities of your life. I tell everybody it reminds me of 1991 when we were going around and telling everybody about how to get on the internet and how to send an email. And interesting scenario, much of the fear and ignorance that was there in the beginning of 1991 with the internet very much exists today with digital currency. We were showing people how to do transactions around the post office in 1991. Today, we're showing people how to do bankless banking without having to use a bank. So the parallels are very similar, and actually the timing is very similar. I tell people we're at probably the equivalent of 1993 as it relates to digital currency because it's only been around about a half decade, and it's really maturing around the world and starting to take hold in the United States. So I'm happy that you're here today. And again, my goal is to help you understand what digital currency is, what's in it for you, and how you can get started. The Seventh Disruption ebook and audiobook will be yours for free for watching this presentation. We're also going to give you a 1-year membership to the Coin Lifestyle, which is an educational community. You'll also have the ability to download our Coin Lifestyle mobile app, which will give you access to all of the important information, updates, and education that we're putting out on a daily basis. We're also going to give you digital currency to conduct your first transaction. So if you want to write down this website address, www.setupcoinwallet.com, it's a little 4-minute instructional video that will teach you how to set up a coin wallet. Then you'll send your account number to me, and I'll send you some money so you can donate it to unitedway.org so you can do your first transaction outside of a government-issued currency. It's really liberating. So your options today after watching this presentation is you can learn something and, well, basically do nothing with it. You can acquire and use the new currency, and you can begin sharing the new currency and build a team and create wealth with the Coin Lifestyle. Now, the new currency is the biggest disruption since the advent of the internet, and I've got news for you. It's going to be 3 times to 5 times larger than the internet because the disruption of the banking industry and the finance industry is absolutely significant. The new currency provides real financial solutions that people need right now. If you need to recover from 2008, like I think a lot of us do, this is about as good an opportunity as you're going to get, so listen up. If you need a game plan for the new currency, no problem, we've got you covered. Here's your game plan. Number 1, we want you to get educated. We definitely want you to enroll in the Coin Lifestyle. It's free, and you'll gain access to all of the important information you need to gain awareness about this exciting disruption. We also want you to get experienced. We want you to conduct a transaction and ultimately make digital currency and the new currency part of your lifestyle. We also want you to get engaged. If you want to share the Coin Lifestyle, it's pretty easy to share something that you're passionate about. And if you want to make a living doing it and you want to get wealthy, you can live the Coin Lifestyle. And it's just an exciting time, folks, to be at the front of a disruption where most people catch the back end. You're very fortunate to be seeing this at the very early stages of the new currency evolution. So what is the Coin Lifestyle? We are a global community of over 1 million members. We're actually approaching 2 million members now of people in over 150 countries that are going around and educating people on digital currency. We're committed to educating people on how they can create wealth and make the new currency part of their lifestyle. Our motto is live where you want to live how you want to live, and create wealth doing it. One thing you'll like about this business is it is a boundaryless business. As long as you have an internet connection, you can do it from anywhere in the world, including that beautiful sailboat right there. The benefits of the Coin Lifestyle are available. This is not a pre-launch or a coming soon deal. You can get started making money today. Now, benefit number 1, we're going to show you how to create more wealth. We're going to show you how to increase your buying power and reduce the cost of products and services that you use every day by 50 to 90%. Benefit number 2, we're going to show you how to create more freedom. Who doesn't want more of that? We're going to show you how to profit from the new currency with a proven online home-based business system from the comfort of your own home or anywhere in the world. Benefit number 3, we're going to show you how to realize more control of your finances. We're going to show you how to be your own bank and protect your money from bank fees, inflation, depreciation, seizure, and even taxation. Now, disclaimer, the new currency is not for everyone. If your palms sweat if you make more than 5% a year on your money, this is definitely not for you. If you require the guarantee of the FDIC or SIPC or some government agency, again, this is not for you. If you get your investment advice from your best friend or a relative who's broke, this one is definitely not for you. And if you believe that everything on Google is the truth, you can about guaranteed this is not for you. There's a lot of misinformation out there. The new currency is new. It is different. It's not accepted as a norm yet, but make no mistake, it is the internet of money. The new currency is the people's money. It's not the government's money. The new currency is a monetary system for people who desire 10/10 of the law. 9/10 of the law, as you know, is the law of possession. It exposes you to risk. When you hand that money over to somebody in safekeeping, if something changes, if they go out of business or if they have restrictions on how you can get it back, then you have 9/10 of the law. That 1/10 means a big deal. And a lot of people don't realize it when they give their money over or surrender their money over to somebody else. They don't realize that they actually could lose it or have it restricted as far as the usage. So that 1/10 becomes a big deal. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's not a big deal. I give my money to the bank. Well, if you were in Greece last year, you might be thinking otherwise right now. Imagine going to the ATM machine and seeing this message. You can only withdraw $50 per day. How would that harm your lifestyle? So that 1/10 became a very big deal to people in Greece, and one day it could become a very big deal for you as well. The new currency eliminates 9/10 of the law. It eliminates identity theft and credit scores, 3-day holds on your money, banker's hours. Wow, how many times have we dealt with that? And also depreciation in debt, which is really the killer. This is Marc Andreessen. He is by far one of the most successful investors in the world in technology. He actually invented the web browser that you're probably viewing this presentation through. But Marc says the new currency will change everything. And what he's referring to is how the Internet of Things are interconnected and how things get paid for. You know, at the end of this year, we'll see the introduction of smart refrigerators. And let's say that your gallon of milk is half full. You'll have a tag on your milk that will communicate with your refrigerator that it's half full, and your refrigerator will automatically order milk. Now, it's not going to do so using paper money and quarters and nickels and dimes and pennies. It's going to do so with the new currency. But with new technology disruptions comes new paradigms. Now, that's a fancy word for saying a new way of looking at things and doing things. The new currency shift involves new terms. For example, in 91, we had to learn what the internet was and what email was. Well, with the new currency, we also have new terms as well, such as the blockchain and Bitcoin and different types of terms that come along with it. We also have new brands, new processes, and new apps. The new currency has limits, limited liquidity, limited awareness, limited acceptance, and limited trust. The new currency also has negative media, misinformation articles, cross-marketers trying to sell you something else, industry warfare with one currency saying it's better than another currency, and then of course there's the yellow bloggers who act like experts and they really aren't. But guess what? Technology had many of the same attributes in the early stages. You guessed it, the internet did. There was all kinds of negative information on the internet about the internet itself, and yet it created more corporate and individual wealth in 25 years than the Industrial Revolution. You know, they say there's no such thing as a missed opportunity. Yeah, right. How many of these companies did you have an opportunity to invest in? Your friends called you up and said, hey, you should invest in Apple. You said, what's that? I don't want to invest in a fruit company. No. But there's all kinds of stories about missed opportunities of people missing the ability to invest in these types of companies. I mean, how many times have you heard if you put $1,000 in Cisco, it'd be worth over $1 million today? You know, if you miss the investing opportunities of the internet, I've got good news for you. You'll get a second chance with the disruption of the new currency. You know, disruption is more than a new product. It's a new life activity that changes the way we do life. You know, disruptions, don't you love this guy? But disruptions create trillion-dollar markets. You just want to hold your pinky up to your lip when you say that. You know, to create trillion-dollar marketplace, you must identify a massive problem and match it with a massive solution. Would you say that these companies figured out massive problems and created massive solutions? I would say so. So what's the massive problem that we're dealing with in today's world? Well, they're pretty obvious. 74% of people recently surveyed distrust banks and government. That's almost at an all-time low. Problem number 2. 15% of baby boomers are not prepared for retirement, and 1/3 have less than $1,000 saved. Problem number 3, and this is a scary one. In 11 years, 76 million baby boomers will be on the government payroll, and we can't even afford to pay what we have on payroll right now. Imagine another 40 million people collecting Medicare and Social Security. It's a pretty scary scenario. Problem number 4, bankruptcy for individuals, companies, cities, and countries at an all-time high. So can we agree that we have a massive problem that needs really a positive disruption? I would say so. So let's talk about what a disruption is, and this is the basis of my book, which of course you'll get for free at the end of this presentation. A disruption occurs when the value chain that's vital to the existence of a company, industry, or country is cut, reprogrammed, or made obsolete. Let's take, for example, Blockbuster. Who disrupted Blockbuster? Well, of course, Netflix did. How about Encyclopedia Britannica? Well, we know that Wikipedia basically put them out of business in a matter of years. How about Tower Records? When was the last time you went into a record store to buy an album or a CD? Well, of course, Napster put a real dent in the music industry, but ultimately it was iTunes that finished them off. How about Egypt? You remember the revolution in Egypt? What started that? Well, it was one person with a Twitter and a WordPress account, free technologies that basically created a revolution in a country. And then here's the tricky one. How about Kodak? A lot of people would say, well, Kodak was disrupted by digital cameras. But that's not really true because they were in the digital camera business. They were disrupted by mobile phones because they weren't in the mobile phone business. Now, there were 6 disruptions that created trillion-dollar markets before the 7th disruption. Most of these occurred during your lifetime. Of course, there was TV, internet, email, mobile, e-commerce, and social media. Now, these are just a sampling of the logos, and I'm sure you recognized most of them, but there are thousands of logos that I could have put on this page that you probably would have recognized. So the new currency is the 7th disruption. You recognize the logos right there? Those are the old markets. Those are the companies that are set to get disrupted by the new currency. And here's the new currency. Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, OneCoin, Blockchain, Ripple Labs, and many more. So these are some of the new currency unicorns. A unicorn is a saying for a future billion-dollar company. Some of these are already multi-billion-dollar companies. These are the companies that you'll look at in 10 to 15 years and say, you know, I wished I would have put $1,000 in one of these companies. And we're going to show you how you can leverage the opportunity to be a part of some of these startups and be a part of the 7th disruption. You know, the smart money is already in the new currency. Let me introduce you to some of the people who are already investing in it. First, there's Peter Thiel from PayPal. You'd have to say he knows a little something about the new currency. Also, Tim Draper from the Draper Funds. There's Michael Novogratz. He runs Fortress Investment Group. Great interview on CNBC with him talking about how he invests his personal money in it. And then, of course, there's Richard Branson, the notorious billionaire who holds the #1 Bitcoin conference at his Necker Island retreat each year. There's Dr. Rusha Ignatova. She's the woman who's created the fastest company in the world to do $1 billion in revenue and has created over $4 billion in net worth for her customers in the last 18 months. Then, of course, there's Mark Andreessen, the #1 largest investor in the digital currency space, and this is a gentleman that knows something about disruption. And, of course, there's the Winklevoss brothers, the founders of Facebook. They've created Gemini, which is one of the fastest growing exchanges in the United States for people that want to trade digital currencies. And, of course, Eric Schmidt of Google thinks that digital currency is a remarkable cryptographic achievement. And then there's Peter Diamandis of the X Prize. Peter's somebody that definitely knows something about disruption as he awards $10 million prizes to the most advanced technological achievements in the world. So you're probably wondering, who is the Google of the new currency? Well, there's a company called OneCoin. It's the fastest company in the world to do $1 billion in revenue. Groupon did it in 27 months. OneCoin did it in 12 months. As I tell people, that's like knocking 3 seconds off of Usain Bolt's fastest 100 time. You know, OneCoin has a track record of creating wealth. In 15 months, over 25,000 people are earning in excess of $100,000 a year, and 300 are earning in excess of $1 million. There's been over $4 billion in wealth created for its members. Now remember, results are not typical, no guarantees are implied, and digital currency is definitely risky. So, what's the media saying about the new currency? Well, the Wall Street Journal says, for all of Bitcoin's growing pains, it represents the future of money in global finance. Bank of America says Bitcoin will be a serious competitor to cash. That was published in Inc. magazine. How about Steve Forbes? This is a guy that knows something about media. He owns Forbes magazine, okay? He writes an article on how Bitcoin will end world poverty. Goldman Sachs, one of the premier investment banking houses in the world, says that Bitcoin could shape the future of finance. Then, of course, there's Richard Branson, wrote an article on his blog that said how digital currency could transform the world. And of course, there's Reuters, who has recently reported how they believe that Bitcoin will be worth $4,000 to $11,000 a coin in the next 24 to 36 months. So, this is definitely the disruption of disruptions. The new currency makes banks and credit cards obsolete. In fact, we no longer need a bank to conduct a secure transaction of value. And if you go to setupcoinwallet.com, we'll prove it to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. So here are the 4 compelling reasons to start focusing on the new currency. Number 1, you can be your own bank. Number 2, you can leverage the advantage of appreciating currency. You can reduce your cost of living. And one of the greatest opportunities in the new currency right now is you can mine digital currency at a discount. So let's get into reason number 1. We want you to become the bank. In this scenario, you have no fees. You have no holds on your money. You also have no identity theft, and you have 10/10 of the law. You own your money. You're not turning over that 1/10 to anybody else. So reason number 2, appreciating currency. What if your currency grew in value like the stocks of Apple, Microsoft, Dell, or Amazon? Do you think you'd have more money today? You bet you would. So here's a powerful image. It's called the escalator of life, and retirement is at the top. But here's the scenario. Most of us have been running up a down escalator, and our mothers told us not to do that when we were young kids, but we do it anyway. As we earn the US dollar every year, it pretty much loses value. In fact, since 1933 till today, it's lost 93% of its value. And last time I checked, if you subtract 93 from 100, you're looking at approximately 7 cents, and that's all that's left. So to give you an example, what I'm talking about is like 70 years ago, a gallon of milk was 38 cents. Today it's $3.80. Well, now you know why. It's not because the cost of the gallon of milk has gone up. It's because the value of your currency that you worked so hard for has decreased and depreciated in value. So what we're recommending is instead of running up a down escalator, we recommend that you run up an up escalator. For example, OneCoin came out at 10 cents in 2015, and today it's at $4.83. Over a 4,000% increase. Wouldn't you like it if your wealth increased over 4,000% instead of 1.2%? Makes a big difference. So I would encourage you to look at the opportunities of running up an up escalator because it'll get you to retirement a lot faster. Now, doesn't that make sense? So here's a great example. Tom pays Bob $1,000 for consulting services. Bob deposits in his money in the bank for safekeeping, so they say. 5 years later, Bob's $1,000 is now worth $896. That's because it was kept safe, right? Why? Inflation, depreciation, and bank fees have eroded Bob's wealth. So here's scenario number 2. Tom pays Bob $1,000 in the new currency for consulting services. Bob keeps his money in his online coin wallet because he is the bank. Bob's digital currency appreciates 10% in value over 5 years, giving him $10,000 in purchasing power from one consulting job. How many of you would like to get paid 10 times for doing the job one time? That sounds like it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So $896 versus $10,000. Now you be the judge, but I'm leaning to the number on the right. The new currency is starting to look more appealing, isn't it? But you say, wait a minute. 10 times appreciation? That's ridiculous. Well, not really. I had to dumb that number down by 90% just to make it believable. The average growth of some of the top digital currencies exceeded 100x in the last 5 years. Now we know past performance is no prediction of future performance, but it's something to consider. So let's look at some charts of performance. In Bitcoin, if you would have put $1,000 in Bitcoin early on, you would have had over $12 million at its peak, and today you'd have about $4.3 million in a 5-year period. That's amazing growth. This is one of the #1 top producing investments in the history of the world. How about Litecoin? It came out and surged and made people a lot of money. Of course, it dropped off a little bit. It surged again. And if you look at the volume to the right, lower right down by April 2016, you'll see that a lot of buying volume is starting to come into it because the awareness of digital currency is spreading all over the world right now. Who's to say that Litecoin doesn't have the ability to go from $3 back up to $20 or $24? How about Ethercoin? Again, this is one of those scenarios. If you had to put $1,000 early on, you'd have over a 1,200% gain on your money in less than a year. Ethereum's on a great run and has tremendous potential. It's one of the coins that you should really look at. And of course, there's OneCoin, which has been called the Google of digital currency. They started off at 10 cents a share, and by February, they were at 50 cents a share. Today, they're over $5.25 per share a year later. What incredible growth. So, reason number 3, increased buying power. What if it took less money to buy the same products and services that you use each year? So here's a great example. In May 2015, I had 1,000 digital coins worth about 50 cents each. So I had about $500 in purchasing power. Every Friday, I go to a place called the Hill Restaurant and I have my favorite hamburger. It costs me about $15. So essentially, it cost me about 30 of my digital coins. 30 times 50 cents is $15. So that left me with 970 digital coins. So a year later, well, I like to say 10x later, now I have 970 digital coins valued at $5 each. So now I have $4,850 in purchasing power. So that same month, I go to buy a hamburger at the Hill Restaurant for $15. So it cost me the equivalent of 3 digital coins this time instead of 30. So I've decreased the amount of value that I have to lay out for the coins by almost 90%. 3 times $5 is $15. And that leaves me with 97 digital coins. So we've kind of been brainwashed to believe that's the value of the product that we're using. But in reality, if the dollar had an accurate number on the front of it, instead of saying $1, it would say 7 cents. Reason number 4, the early bird mining opportunity. What if you could acquire currency at a 50 to 90% discount before it reaches the public market? Mining is where the big money is made in the new currency. Miners are rewarded with currency at a deep discount for bringing coins into general circulation. Mining requires no technical skills, just paid-in capital or sweat equity. Mining and educational packages can range from $700 to $100,000. So here's some examples of some mining packages. Imagine putting, say, $1,600 into a mining package and getting 333 coins valued at almost $7 per coin. Well, that would give you almost $2,200, $2,300 for your $1,600 commitment. Or if you put in $6,400 and you were to acquire, say, 4,000 coins valued at $7 a piece, now you've taken $6,400 and turned it into over $28,000. Or if you really have some big bucks, you can go, say, for $30,000 package. And what if you had 23,000 coins valued at $7 a piece? Now you're looking at almost $150,000 for your $30,000 commitment to mining. So as you can see, the value that you get as you increase your level of commitment to mining will increase the number of coins that you get. Now these numbers are subject to change. This is a hypothetical example, and of course it's for educational and training purposes only, but it gives you an idea of how mining works and how you get an advantage if you commit to a larger package. So if you want to recover, now is the time to start mining the new currency. The first question you should get on the phone with the person who invited you to this presentation is, show me how to mine coins. There's also earning opportunities. If you decide you like this business and you want to share it with others, we have 4 different ways that you can get paid. Personal sales, you can earn up to 10% on mining and educational packages. Network sales, on your sales organization, you can earn an additional 10%. And of course, we have performance overrides. When you help other people become successful, you have the opportunity to override what they earn, and that ranges anywhere from 10 to 25%. Imagine if you help somebody get to $10,000 a month and you're earning a 25% performance override on them. That's when money really gets real. And then, of course, we have opportunities where 40% of your pay can go into buying more coins at a discount. So those are the exciting opportunities. Again, these are subject to change. These are hypothetical numbers, and for educational and training purpose only, but get with the person who invited you and they can show you that it's even more exciting than this. So the opportunity to learn and earn is now. The new currency is bigger than the internet. It's truly disruptive. It provides solutions to financial problems that we all need. The market timing could not be better. 99% of the people in the world have never done a digital currency transaction. And mining is truly where the wealth begins. Until you start asking the right questions, you'll continue to get the wrong answers. So here's a great question to ask yourself. What is your plan B? How do you expect to create wealth with a currency that depreciates rapidly each year? Why are you running up a down escalator? What would you do if your government instituted currency controls and limited you to $600 a week in withdrawals? That would be scary, wouldn't it? If your government currency goes bankrupt, what will you do? Do you have a plan B? If you could reduce the cost on your personal or business expenses by 50 to 90%, what would stop you from acquiring the new currency starting today? If you could make $100,000 plus a year sharing this idea, what would hold you back? And the final question, if I could do it in Sam Jackson's voice, it would be, what's in your e-wallet? Maybe I ought to stick to my day job. Anyway, get back to the person who introduced you to the new currency and begin your journey today. They can show you how to gain access to the seventh disruption, the rise of the digital currency billionaire, and certainly all the other freebies. And don't forget to go to setupcoinwallet.com and conduct your first transaction outside of a government-issued currency. I got to tell you, it's real liberating. Hey, my name's Tom McMurrin. It has been a pleasure presenting to you today.